fly over from military helicopters. A strong military heritage in this area surrounding Trois-Rivières, Quebec. And you can see shots of the grandstands just packed here today. And again, a blue sky day, a few clouds dotting the sky as we couldn't ask for a better day for a NASCAR Pinty Series race here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. It's been a fabulous weekend. We did have a little bit of rain pass through, but not enough to really affect the weekend's activities. As the giant maple leaf flag, that might be one of the biggest Canadian flags I've ever seen, unfurled here on the front straightaway. But that one getting rolled up nicely as we get set for the words that everybody is waiting to hear to set these cars loose. Again, the driver introductions already completed. If you're just joining us, Marc-Antoine Cameron, LP Dumoulin, Andrew Ranger, Alex Tagliani, Kevin Lacroix, Alex Labbé, DJ Kennington, JF Dumoulin, Trayton Lapsevich, and Alex Gannett. Your top 10. So the French production goes to break, and we'll keep going as we have these pictures to bring you here on the front straightaway. And you can see it is an enormous field. And that's a look at some of the winners. They're going to show that graphic as soon as they come back from break, give you a history, a breakdown of what's happened so far in the 2023 season. We can tell you Trayton Lapsevich very much in front in the Fast Eddie Speedway point standings with a 40-point cushion on the rest of the field, and the rest of the field is led by the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron, who rolls off first. So Cameron stands to have a very good points day. Trayton Lapsevich starts in 9th. And the thing that the drivers have been worried about here is not only keeping pace with the drivers who are up at the front. That pace is going to be fairly brisk in the early going of this race, likely. But you don't want to drift back too far and you get caught in the pack, and that's when issues can happen. Again, this is a very tight racetrack, and there's some runoff areas in the event that you do have a problem, but there's an awful lot of concrete and tire wall barriers surrounding this place, and that's problematic. So you make one small mistake and it could really ruin your day. For Trayton Lapsevich, with this many cars in the race, it could be a very bad points day. He could lose terribly, but he's been very good so far this year, needless to say. With 40-point lead on the rest of the field at this point in the season. We're only at race number 9, believe it or not, of the NASCAR Pinty Series, and Trayton Lapsevich has 5 wins already, including back-to-back wins in races 7 and 8 in Saskatoon. The first driver to in Saskatoon, those 2 events. But Lapsevich has just been that good all season long. Marc-Antoine Cameron picking up a couple wins, and the 18 of Alex Tagliani also visiting victory lane so far here in 2023. As you see the drivers climbing into their race cars. There's LP Dumoulin. You see the helmet disappear underneath the name bar and the roof for the WeatherTech number 47. This is a race that both the Dumoulin brothers want to win. Their shop is here in Trois-Rivières, Quebec. This is where those cars are put together and maintained. This is the race that they want to win, and LP Dumoulin has won it twice already. The 04 of JF Dumoulin has yet to taste victory lane champagne here in his hometown. Good shot there of turn number 3 in the Duplessis gates. And that is one of the trickiest turns here at this 11-turn circuit that is the Grand Prix of Trois-Rivières. It funnels down into essentially a 1-groove turn through turn number 3. So you go from a really wide front straightaway where you can fan out 3, 4, 5 cars wide And then you funnel in through turn number 1, and it continues to bottleneck down. And then turn number 3, you can make it side by side, but you have to be very polite with each other. And make sure not to push into the tire wall on corner exit. This is a look at the qualifying lap for the 96 Marc-Antoine Cameron. And again, this coming yesterday during qualifying. And the 96 wasn't perfect. The car slipping and sliding around at times in turn number 6 on exit. You see him use all of that racetrack and more. But he was able to carry enough speed, a full-on drift through turn 8. Turn number 9, you want to be a little tidier. And that sets you up for turn 10, which is a right-hander through here. And turn 11, touch the curb and head to the front chute and the start-finish line. And that was his new track record for Marc-Antoine Cameron in the 96. Here's a look at the finishes so far in 2023. And if you see the name Lapcevich come up there a lot, it's absolutely right. 5 wins so far in the races completed. Tagliani with 1 at the Grand Prix.
Afin de prononcer la phrase historique du monde du sport automobile, je cède la parole à Randy Pearden, directeur des ventes canadiennes pour Rousseau Metal, accompagné de Nicolas L'Espérance de groupe Olivier Shelby Canada, Marc Bergeron, président de Prolong Control, et Martin Danjou de Festidrag TV.
Pilote, démarrez vos moteurs! Drivers, start your engines!
And the call to start your engines here on the front straightaway with representatives from Rousseau Metals. And you can hear the NASCAR horsepower firing to life here on the front chute. The exhaust notes echoing in the cavern that is the front straightaway, bouncing off those concrete walls on both sides. The VIP area is packed here on the front chute. A good look at some of the drivers strapped in and ready to go. There's Fritz, the crew member for Alex Tagliani. It's his birthday today, so no doubt he would like to visit Victory Lane to celebrate his birthday. And there's Kevin Lacroix, still looking to break through to Victory Lane here in 2023. The cars are fired, looking to set them loose and get them rolling here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. We will do that very shortly. You can see all the dignitaries are lined up to take that one ladder to get off on the front straightaway. The crews and support workers for the drivers headed back to the paddock area. You heard a big thump when they fired the engine. That was it, the big gun from the local military base as they fired it off in celebration here ahead of the Rousseau Metals 60. So once again, there's a number of different storylines that we're going to be watching over the course of this race. Of course, there's this strategy when it comes to pit stops. When are you going to stop? You're going to stop early for gas? You're going to stop later for gas? Are you going to take tires? Or are you just going to go on the general tires that you started the race with? What about the 27 of Andrew Ranger? He's had horrible luck already in 2023. Can he turn it around here today? Or Alex LeBay, brand new race team, new race car to him, qualified in the 6th position. Does he have what it takes to return to Victory Lane? He almost did it in Newfoundland on the oval in a reserve role. He filled in for Thomas Neveu, couldn't make that race. And Alex LeBay has a drive of his own now in the 36 car. That partnership with Donovan Lucier from the dirt modified ranks. And Alex LeBay driving the 00 here in the Chevrolet Urban Challenge to a 3rd place finish last night. And now we'll see if he can take a couple steps higher up on the podium here for the Rousseau Metals 60 for the NASCAR Pinty Series. Once again, good shots of the grounds here at the Hippodrome and the area around the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. It's not a very long circuit, but it is a technical one that offers plenty of passing opportunity. As we take a look at your track map, turn number 1 as you go into the stadium area. Du Stade, that's what it is, turn number 1. That's a good passing opportunity. Turn 6, another one. Turn 9 can be, but usually ends up with a lot of bumping and grinding. There's a pass through turn number 3. One thing that we have noticed over the course of this weekend in calling these races is that the asphalt has been affected by the temperature, as normally happens here in Canada. So the cold temperatures, warm temperatures, it has created several new bumps, several new dips and challenges for the drivers. One of them is in turn number 6, the approach to turn number 6, and under braking, you can see the Rousseau metal signs. That's the braking markers for these drivers to tell them how far they are away from the corner. But as they'll get in there, you'll watch the cars, they'll bounce, they'll hop, but it's the undulations in the asphalt and then the transition from the concrete patch at the apex of turn number 6 out towards that tire wall. Watch DJ Kennington, there's JF Dumoulin. Watch the front and the back sort of take a hop. Now do that at speed and it can pitch that car out towards that tire wall. So something that these drivers will have to be mindful of over the course of 60 laps. Turn number 8, this can be another passing opportunity if you do get a good run off turn number 6. Turn 7 essentially just a kink, so you can run on the outside there, hard braking, but driver on the outside can run into that runoff area and use some momentum to their advantage as well. As you see, the drivers trying to get some heat in their general tires, leaving some black marks, making sure there's lots of temperature in there, trying to get some heat in their brakes as well. We saw Raphael Lazar try to push the brakes hard, locked up just a little bit in turn number 8. There's a good look at your pole sitter, a new track record holder from St. Leonard, Aston, Quebec, and the defending series champion driving the GM Paillet Chevrolet number 96 is Marc-Antoine Cameron. He'll have a very hungry LP Dumoulin to his outside. Dumoulin coming off a couple of podium finishes in the Western road trip. A podium in Edmonton, a podium in one of 2 Saskatoon races. So LP Dumoulin starting to build some momentum as well. Saw something fall out of the number 18 of Alex Tagliani. Looked like a little bit of roll bar padding or something like that. Keep an eye on the back straightaway. The cleanup crew has been absolutely fantastic all weekend long in getting things tidied up. You can see the starting order flashing on the bottom of your screen. Lacroix and Labbé make up row number 3 along with their time that they had in qualifying. Then you look back to the next row, that's DJ Kennington and JF Dumoulin in the 0-4. It's not just the 4, it's the 0-4. Starting in 7th and 8th, but the field will double up. Lights off on the pace car, and it heads for pit lane. So the start will soon be in the hands of Marc-Antoine Cameron and LP Dumoulin. The outside here into turn number 1 is not necessarily a penalty for the driver starting in that second position. You can use that outside groove, and if you can hang out there, it'll put you on the inside for turn number 2, which is a tighter corner and a better opportunity to complete a pass. So something to keep in mind. As you can see, the field bunching up nicely. They'll bring it off slowly from turn number 11, looking to get things underway here in the Rousseau Medal 60 at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières, and we are green. Cameron pushing the 47 well up to the outside, 3 wide into turn number 1. Lacroix was down below the 27 of Ranger and up over top. A big wreck into turn number 1. Or turn number 2, I should say. Kevin Lacroix catching the tire, the 27 of Andrew Ranger, up and over into the tire wall. Full course caution right now. As you can see, the safety team to the window of Kevin Lacroix, and the window net goes down for Andrew Ranger. Both those drivers will be very disappointed. Have another look at what happened. A pinch between the 47 and the 27 as the 74 was trying to sneak through. Dumoulin will have some damage as well. Andrew Ranger 100% destroyed going into turn number 2. And Kevin Lacroix has a very torn up race car as well. Just disappointment for Andrew Ranger. That has been the year for the 2017. He got through one turn cleanly, and unfortunately in turn number 2, got a big hit as the 47 actually jumped up and over the back end of the GM Paillet number 27. But the best news is that the driver from Roxton Pond, Quebec is out. You can see the cut right rear tire for the 47 of LP Dumoulin. He sat on the outside of the front row, and now he's making a pit stop here to get a new right rear general tire. We continue under caution. There's some damage to a couple of the cars deeper in the field. There's Kevin Lacroix, helmet off. He's out and okay, which is great news too. But boy, there's some torn up race cars. So what does this do for the strategy for LP Dumoulin? Looks like he's just going to take that one emergency tire to get that right rear replaced. A wave for Kevin Lacroix. He'll head back to the paddock area. Some damage to other cars deeper in the field, and this is really no surprise because you do go from a wide front straightaway funneling down to a tight one, and looks like they're going to put Ranger and Lacroix in the same vehicle. And I'm not really sure at this point if that's a very good idea. They're going to have some words likely and try and talk that one out. But Daryl Timmers in the 98 suffering some damage. I believe I saw the back bumper cover trailing on the GSR 0 of Glenn Stiers. So we do not have a full lap complete at this point. So timing and scoring still showing the 47 of LP Dumoulin running in second, which we know that is not the case. But the cleanup starts now in turn number 2, taking out 2 top runners. Qualified in third, the 27 of Andrew Ranger, and 5th, the 47 of Kevin Lacroix. Both days end with about a minute and a half into this race. It wasn't very long at all. Boy, that's heartbreaking for both those drivers. Both of them, as a matter of fact, have been looking for their first victory here in 2023 and have fallen short. Andrew Ranger has had just horrible luck already this year, and it looks like this was none of his doing. He was just trying to turn into turn number 2, and Kevin Lacroix was in there by a nose, caught the back tire, bouncing off the 47 of LP Dumoulin and then into the tire of the 27 of Andrew Ranger, and lifting the nose of that car up and over the back deck lid of the 27 of Ranger. It's amazing that both drivers can walk away relatively unhurt. Now Daryl Timmers will make a quick dive down pit lane to get that front end checked. Take a look at the damage there to the CMS Curb Records number 98. So they'll want to make sure that the cooling area is open on the 98. Have a look at this though. Daryl Timmers is going to get his fuel at this point. Remember, the teams did have to make a mandatory fuel stop before lap 50. And so Timmers is going to do that right now as the look at the damage to the back end of the GM High number 27 of Ranger. There's the damage to the 98. So tape going on the front to make sure all that fiberglass is going to stay put. And they're trying to open up that area to the radiator on the front of this Curb Records number 98. Daryl Timmer's not necessarily running for points. This is just his second start in the NASCAR Pinty Series after running at the Honda Indy Toronto. And the second car involved, slowly getting pulled out of the tire wall. Again, the cleanup crew has been fabulous here all weekend long and very quick to get things tidied up and get races back under green flag conditions. Have another look at what happened. And look, you can see right underneath the 47, completely airborne, is Kevin Lacroix, and the impact into the tire wall. Look at how much energy the tire wall absorbed as Kevin Lacroix came down just before hitting the tires, and the 27 of Andrew Ranger in there too. But a bit of an ambitious move this early in the race for the 74 of Kevin Lacroix, as he was forcing it 3 wide into turn number 2, and that's a corner right before you have to almost be single file. And so no doubt that'll be part of the conversation between the drivers, because not only did that affect the race for Andrew Ranger, it also affected the race for LP Dumoulin. Tagliani has managed to improve now to second on track, and Alex Labay, that brand new team, number 36 on the track, his familiar number from the NASCAR Pinty Series, adorns the door, and Andrew Ranger in a familiar position in the NASCAR Pinty Series, sitting inside the top 3. It's no surprise to see him at the front of the field. Another pit stop. This is going to be the 3rd one now for the WeatherTech Dodge of LP Dumoulin. So the driver may have felt something amiss. They changed that right rear tire, but is there something worse? So another tire is going to go on. The right front is going to go on as well. So changing both the right sides now, getting new General tires for the 47 team. And a slower pit stop, but it's under caution still. No, they're going to go for all 4. So this is their tire change that they are allowed to do, and not mandatory. Again, it's not a mandatory tire stop, but they're going with sticker tires all around for the WeatherTech number 47. A bit of a slow stop, though. They had some trouble on the right rear, and they'll have to start moving because the cleanup appears to be complete here in turn number 2. Heavily damaged number 74 of Kevin Lacroix being pulled off to the paddock area. Well, what a turn of events to start the Rousseau Medal 60 here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. Somebody said this was going to happen in lap number 1, corner number 2. You would have said, no, they would wait. They're not going to be that aggressive that early. Well, we're now 3 laps in. There's 57 laps to go because we continue under caution, and these laps do count. So Tagliani, LeBay, Kennington, and JF Dumoulin behind Marc-Antoine Cameron as your top 5. Trayton Lapsevich, your points leader. You can see him right there, the Delta Bingo and Gaming GSR RGC Group number 20. Your points leader is unscathed through that. Alex Gannett picked up 3 spots. He's sitting in 7th. Raphael Lessard, LP Montour, and Gary Clute. That's your top 10 as it sits right now. LP Dumoulin has made several stops. He's still on the lead lap, as is the 98 of Daryl Timmers and the 0 of Glenn Stiers. But here's where strategy comes into play. The 59 of Gary Clute making a swing down pit lane. Again, the rules state the drivers have to make a pit stop anytime for fuel within the first 50 laps. Can't stop for fuel in the last 10 laps of this race. that won't work. So anytime within the first 50 laps, if you think you can make it, then you can get a splash of gas, then you're done. You can run the rest of the way if you want. There's the option this year to change 4 tires if you so choose, and not mandatory. You don't have to make a stop for tires, but if you make a stop for fuel, you can't change tires while you're fueling the car. That's an existing rule in the NASCAR Pinty series. You get 1 service option per stop. You either change tires or you fuel the car. So that means there could potentially be 2 stops for these teams. As you see, some of them have already come down and taken fuel. Gary Clute went from 10th all the way down to 24. And again, this work continues on the 98 of Daryl Timmers as they try to get all that bodywork patched up and the openings created to get air in. That's the most important part. Daryl Timmers still listed on the lead lap, but he is the final car currently in the running. So the 96, the Marc-Antoine Cameron, able to conserve fuel right now. Pit lane is open still if the drivers want to dive in and take advantage of this opportunity, but it's interesting to hear the drivers and the teams talk about their strategies coming into this one. Looks like Thomas Neveu is going to make a swing down pit lane. I believe the 31 of Daniel Bois was doing the same there. Yeah, that's it. Those 2 cars heading down for their pit stop. The Aviram number 24 and Sierra Excavating 31. There's the Rousseau Metals number 1 of JP Bergeron. He's going to make a quick pit stop as well. So is this just for fuel? The 31 is going to take some Sunoco fuel. Oh, and he left with the fuel can. That's going to be a penalty for the 31 team. And you can see it's still dragging the Rousseau Metals team of Bergeron down and away. They take their fuel. They did manage to get that fuel can out cleanly. Daniel Bois did not. You can see it's still hanging there. Thomas Neveu also getting some fuel. There is some gas for the WeatherTech number 47 of LP Dumoulin. It's stalled too as the crew has to go out and give him a push. And you can see the 31 of Daniel Bois still sitting there. The fuel man's going to head out, grab that can, and send him back on his way. But this will be a penalty. Have another look at what happened. You can see Daniel Bois drops a gear and gets going, and unfortunately that can just didn't separate in time. And again, Bois not running a full schedule, but they do normally do pit stops at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park on the road course there. So the team will have had road course or pit stop practice, I should say. We can tell you 5 laps already completed here of a scheduled 60 for the Rousseau Medal, 60 for the NASCAR Pinty Series at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. How many laps have we done at speed? 0. As a matter of fact, we've gone down the front straightaway at speed, through turn number 1 at speed. Turn number 2 is where it all went wrong for the 27 of Andrew Ranger and the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. The 47 of LP Dumoulin also involved in that incident. He was able to drive away, cut down a right rear tire. He's had that fixed. He's had several stops down pit lane. As a matter of fact, he's taken tires, brand new tires, sticker tires on the 47. He's taken fuel, so he theoretically doesn't have to stop for the rest of this race, according to the rules. Larry Jackson, the 84, the O'Neill Electric Barbados Tourism Dodge, headed down pit lane. So it looks like Jackson's going to take the opportunity to top up on fuel with now 5 laps in the books. 5 laps was around the point where the drivers and teams felt comfortable that they could make it the rest of the way on gas. So by increasing the lap total from 50 to 60, there's the JF LaBerge number 91 with Dagobert on board supporting that team. He'll come down for his fuel stop. All the leaders, though, staying out at this point. Saw the 31 of Daniel Bois also make a stop down pit lane. Once again, likely to serve his penalty. So the drivers who have stopped for fuel, Gary Clute was one of the first to make a dive down pit lane. He was in 10th position during this caution period. Gary Clute currently sits 19th. So keep that in mind. Gary Clute, the first of the drivers who have stopped for fuel. LP Dumoulin in the 47 to stop for fuel and tires. And he is currently in the 24th position. Glenn Stiers, Benoit Coutser, then Thomas Neveu, JP Bergeron, Daryl Timmers with his issues. They've all been down pit lane. The other drivers staying out, JF LaBerge, Daniel Plot, Larry Jackson. They've all managed to get some fuel. So the lights off on the pace car. Let's try this one more time. 6 laps are officially in the books, all of them under caution. Pace car is in. Marc-Antoine Cameron as Alex Tagliani is a dancing partner here on the front row, as they work their way through turn number 9 and turn 10. This was the scene of the defeats for LP and JF Dumoulin, with Marc-Antoine Cameron also involved in that incident 1 year ago. And we're looking for a clean start this time. Green flag in the hands of the starter as they make their way onto the front straightaway. The RPMs pick up, and this is a much cleaner start here as they head for turn number 1. Little wiggle out of the 96 to Marc-Antoine Cameron, but he maintains that lead in through turn number 2. DJ Kennington slides to the inside of the 36 of Alex Labbé. Change of position for third spot. Kennington will tuck in behind the Saint-Hubert number 18 of Alex Tagliani. Single file out of turn 3 and down the back straightaway at speed for the first time. Raphael Lessard, that's the 12, the Duro King 12. Up belongs, oh no, that's the 04 of JF Dumoulin in the Omni-Fab Dodge. So he manages to get around your points leader in Trayton Lapsevich. And have a look at the Vyram, number 3 of Alex Gannett. Very much in the fray. After winning 1 year ago for a different team, he was driving for Dave Jacobs Racing a year ago when he visited Victory Lane. Alex Gannett very positive about today's race, looking forward to it, says he loves this track. I can tell you right now, Marc-Antoine Cameron loves exactly what he's doing, and that's leading the Rousseau medal. So we've completed 1 lap at speed, 7, now 8 laps completed on the board here in the Rousseau medal 60. Marc-Antoine Cameron, a 109. So that's about 3 seconds a lap off what his qualifying lap was, but on your first one after a restart, generally not your quickest lap. You can see the front of the field all starting to spread out just a little bit. Through turn number 6, you can see that tire wall, and it does open up just a little bit to give the drivers a little bit of breathing room on corner exit. This is 8. And again, you have that big painted runoff area that's been used quite frequently. There's no track limit rules for the NASCAR Pinty Series. You can use that runoff area as much as you want. Then through the tight turn 10, the right-hander, you hit the curb on turn 11, back onto the front straightaway and cross the stripe. As we finish yet another lap single file. Having a look back to where Gary Clute is in the 59, and Thomas Neveu now down pit lane, so he comes for his fuel. Letting the field sort out just a little bit. The Vyram number 24, fuel for the 1 of JF Bergeron as well. And now DJ Kennington hounding the 18. Alex Tagliani. Tagliani went to Victory Lane the last time we were on a street circuit in Toronto. The 18 car, the class of the field, qualified on pole, led nearly the entire race distance. As a matter of fact, relinquished the lead for just a short period of time to the 27 of Andrew Ranger, and then picked it right back up. But Tag was very happy with this car. He thought he had a good piece, but look at DJ Kennington, the old wily veteran. And Kennington has visited Victory Lane here at Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières once before. It was a while ago. That one happened way back in 2013, 10 years ago for the 17. Dumoulin down pit lane. JF Dumoulin, what's going on with the front of that car? Oh, he's too far in the box. And it looks like something has broken on the front end of the 04. The Omnifab 04 of JF Dumoulin has some issues. The crew going to work on the front end. You can see the right front leading way in, which might be a setup for an oval track car. It does not work here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. So potentially the 04 has been caught out by some of the bumps, and you see it. They're done. The crew taking off the helmet. It's not worth it. Something has broken and ended the day for the 04. As your race leader comes down pit lane, Marc-Antoine Cameron will give up top spot to Alex Tagliani. He'll have to watch his speed. Do not make a mistake on pit lane. That is what the drivers need to remember. The GM Paillet, number 96 of the defending series champion, Marc-Antoine Cameron down pit lane. Here's Raphael Lazard also making a stop for fuel. This one taking a little extra time, as you see the fuel man wasn't quite ready to engage the nozzle in the 12. As Alex Tagliani takes over top spot and the race lead, but he's got company in the Castrol Edge Dodge of DJ Kennington. A wiggle under braking from the 18 of Tagliani. Kennington has been in the NASCAR Pinty Series. As a matter of fact, no driver has started more races in the NASCAR Pinty Series than DJ Kennington. Been here since the inception, and now Kennington will head for pit lane. So time to get topped up on fuel for the Castrol Edge Dodge. And Alex Tagliani will now be all by himself at the front of the field. Saw a quick glimpse of the 36 of Alex Labay. So Labay was in third. He'll be promoted to second now as Trayton Lapsevich moves up a spot into third. Stops, hits his marks, does the 17. And again, that fuel goes in. They don't need a full tank to make it the entire distance, but look, it's a busy pit lane as the Assa Abloy, Eviram, number 3 of Gannett makes a stop. Dexter Stacy in the recap 92 makes a stop. Brandon Watson, Leland, number 9 makes a stop for fuel. All getting a quick splash, but when will Alex Tagliani come? He's enjoying this clean air out in front, setting the pace. DJ Kennington has so far put in the quickest lap of the race, so 108.5 for his lap time, as Marc-Antoine Cameron is now in the mix of the field. He did get out in front of the 17 of DJ Kennington, which is key. Daniel Bois is in between those two cars, so Cameron currently 12th, Daniel Bois 13th, and DJ Kennington in 14th position. Donald Teach, he'll move the Teach Automotive Group number 80 down to pit lane as we keep an eye on Marc-Antoine Cameron, your pole sitter here. Now battling with the 54 of Dave Corsol, the CarQuest Auto Parts Dodge. Dave Corsol making a return to the NASCAR Pinty Series after many years away. Tagliani setting sail down Boulevard du Carmel into the General Tire corner here, turn number 6. You can see that hop in the transition from concrete to asphalt. There's Alex Labay in the number 36. There's your points leader, Trayton Lapsevich. LP Montour having a great run so far in the 13 in 4th spot. Justin Arsenault started shotgun on the field in the 03, is up inside the top 5 as the race leader now down pit lane as Tagliani finds pit lane looking for his pit stall, and he will get it. They're ahead just a little bit as he didn't brake in time, and now a quick splash of fuel. But Tagliani drove it a little bit deep in his pit stall, and that cost them precious seconds. As you saw, the 91 of JF Laberge was stopped on pit lane, so it appears as though his day is done. As we continue under green with 46 laps to go, and your new race leader is a familiar face here to the NASCAR Pinty Series, Alex Laberge. So Laberge is now headed for pit lane himself. Time has come for the 36 to make his way down pit lane, and his box will be way at the back. A brand new race team, so he gets a last shot at a pit stall and takes the last one in line. Now he'll have to watch on exit of pit lane to watch his speed, as Jocelyn Fecteau has problems in the 77. That appears to be the runoff area in turn number 6. So it looks like he'll either try to get that car restarted and spun back in the right direction, or he may be parking it. Could be issues for the 77. 45 laps to go here in the Rousseau Medal 60 at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. Trayton Lapsevich, who's visited victory lane 5 times already this season, as the RGC Delta Bingo and Gaming GSR number 20 at the front of the field, ahead of the Kamloops number 13 of LP Montour. That car is prepared at the Dumoulin Competition shop here in Trois-Rivières, Quebec. And now Trayton Lapsevich down pit lane. So fuel stop for the 20 as we continue under green. His pit box is going to be right towards the end, and he'll find it. Stop. The fuel can goes in. He needs a clean stop. And they wiggle a little bit to make sure it comes out cleanly, and it does, as Trayton Lapsevich released from his pit stall. There's a good look at Alex Tagliani. He has made his pit stop, and he has come out in front of the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. So the 18 has finished his service as far as fuel goes. The 96 has as well, and they've swapped positions on the racetrack. So Cameron came in early. Tagliani stayed out a little bit longer, and Tagliani is ahead, but we should note that the car just ahead of them is the 47 of LP Dumoulin, and LP Dumoulin has taken fuel and tires already. Gary Clute as well ahead. You can see Clute in the 59 sitting in third. So LP Montour and Justin Arsenault have yet to make pit stops. Gary Clute has taken fuel, and he sits in third right now. LP Dumoulin has taken fuel and tires, and he's in fourth. So the strategy could be playing off in the favor of some of these drivers as Arsenault gets passed by the 59 of Gary Clute. Arsenault now coming down pit lane, making his stop from second place. But this is the battle for fourth position between Marc-Antoine Cameron and Alex Tagliani. A close one we've been watching for several laps now, and it looks as though the 96 has been able to reel in the 18 of Tagliani as they'll work through some lap traffic. The 75 of Benoit Couture just in ahead of these drivers, and he'll move to the side, trying to get out of the way as best he can. But look at Cameron. Cameron will try to slide to the outside, and that'll give him the inside for turn number 8. He can't do it there. So he'll follow him through. Look, that's planning a pass. So Cameron was trying to open up that corner just a little bit, back it up, trying a different line to get a good run out of the turn and maybe snooker the 18 and steal away a spot. But Cameron is trying every trick in the book now to get around the 18 of Alex Tagliani. LP Montour continues to lead in the 13. Gary Clute in the 59. LP Dumoulin, Alex Tagliani, Marc-Antoine Cameron, Alex Labbé, your top 6 as they sit right now. And we can tell you that LP Montour has not yet stopped for fuel. Gary Clute has, LP Dumoulin has. So it's Tagliani, Labbé, Justin Arsenault, Daniel Bois, Trayton Lapcevich. They've all made their stops for fuel. This driver has yet to do that. But the Électricité Automation, number 13 of LP Montour, having a great run. He is a fun driver to watch. If you get an opportunity to just focus on LP Montour driving a NASCAR Pinty Series car, that car is never straight. There's never any ease up to LP Montour. The back end slides around. You think there's no way he can hang up there that long. He'll wear out those General tires. He doesn't care. He's having way too much fun driving the NASCAR Pinty Series cars, and he often gets a really good finish as a result. Doing double duty here this weekend at the GP3R, running in the FEL Sports Car Championship Canada. Unfortunately, his day ended horribly yesterday, as you can see some bodywork spread on the back straightaway. I don't know who that's from, but it's on the racetrack now. It appears to be just fiberglass. And Marc-Antoine Cameron saw that too. It looked like he was going to try to move underneath the 18 of Alex Tagliani, but that's almost in the passing lane there for turn number 6. As now, finally, the 13 of LP Montour finds pit lane. And he'll need to watch his speed as he finds his pit stall. Again, Cameron all over the back of the 18, not touching him, but coming very close. Again, a pushback for the 13 as Montour missed his pit stall. That's going to cost him precious seconds. And down and away, your new race leader is Gary Clute in the Bothwell number 59. And he doesn't have a significant lead. It's comfortable at this point, but it's not huge as that fiberglass still sits on the back straightaway. Nobody else has hit it to knock it up out of the way as Serge Bourdeau in the 24th position in the 55 just ahead. Serge in his 3rd attempt in a NASCAR Pinty Series race. He's twice been to the Grand Prix Trois-Rivières, and he has no idea that Gary Clute is back there, and that's going to catch Gary Clute out just a little bit. A pair of dodges nose to tail. Look at that, the lead is gone. All of a sudden, as Gary Clute working lap traffic, trying to get around the 55, and now he's going to have company with a 47 right behind him as this battle is broken off just a little bit between the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron and the 18 of Alex Tagliani. That's a dice for 3rd spot. And now Tagliani will catch Serge Bourdeau, and that's in through turn number 3. Watch this. Will he push it? No, he can't. And Bourdeau tucks to the inside. He'll let the leaders go by, but again, that navigation of lap traffic has cost the race leader his cushion at the front. So the 59 of Gary Clute had built up a couple seconds back to the WeatherTech Dodge of LP Dumoulin. And now those couple seconds vanished immediately as they come to the back end of the 0 GSR entry of Glenn Stiers. And Stiers does give a quick point out the window to the leaders to go by. So very much on the ball, Glenn Stiers there. And letting the leaders go through. Stiers currently in the 23rd position. And the first car now a lap down. We'll see what kind of lap times the 59 can do if he's able to stretch out a little bit of a gap once again on the 47 of LP Dumoulin. The driver from Alton Hills, again, has had an event-filled weekend for sure, because after practice he said, you know what, this car's just not performing as good as it should be. So the crew went to work and changed the engine in that number 59 between practice and qualifying. So he didn't get a lot of rest time yesterday afternoon, as Stiers will pull to the outside, let Marc-Antoine Cameron pull through, and Tagliani will do the same underneath the zero of Glenn Stiers. Alex Labbé is now caught that group as Cameron has moved through for third place around Tagliani. Cameron, the quickest in qualifying. He was quickest in practice, too. The GM Paye number 96 was the leader when he made his pit stop and has to fight through traffic now. As the battle at the front, 0.3 of a second difference between Gary Clute in the 59 and the 47 of LP Dumoulin. And LP has won here twice. Gone to victory lane, most recently in 2019. Also way back in 2014, LP Dumoulin tasted the champagne in victory lane. And now he's chasing the 59 of Gary Clute. Unfortunately, LP had a great run going a year ago and made contact with both the 96 Marc-Antoine Cameron and the 04 of JF Dumoulin, his brother. And both Dumoulin cars failed to finish that race as a result. And worthy of note, the 47 was caught in that incident on lap number 1. That took out the 27 and the 74 in corner number 2. He suffered a cut right rear tire, but was able to continue on. Took advantage of the extended caution period, though, and fueled up, put new tires on, and away he goes in the WeatherTech Dodge. So LP Dumoulin chasing the 59 of Gary Clute. For your race lead, Clute just a little bit quicker, not by much, by a couple hundredths of a second on the last lap. Look at Dumoulin getting some clean air into those brakes, into the radiator, getting the car cooled off just a little bit. As you follow the driver in front of you, it stops that air from getting into the front end of the car and cooling down everything. Now the temperature outside today is not abnormally large, or abnormally high, I should say. And now comes Dumoulin to the inside in turn number 9, and he will complete that pass. Managed to get up alongside, surprise the 59 just a little bit. Dumoulin, your new race leader, as they cross the stripe. And listen to the crowd. If you can hear it over the sound of these roaring NASCAR engines, the crowd is absolutely ecstatic to see the hometown hero from Trois-Rivières, Quebec, LP Dumoulin, your new race leader. Having another look at how this was set up. The 59 wiggled a little bit on the exit of corner number 8, and I think Gary Clute knew it. He looked in that side mirror just very quickly, and the 47 was already there. So smart on Gary Clute to relinquish that position, get in line, and get going, because Marc-Antoine Cameron is coming. There's Cameron in the GM Paye number 96. You saw the flash of the yellow and red. Number 18 of Alex Tagliani. That is a new paint scheme for this weekend. Saint-Hubert predominantly displayed as the sponsor of notes on the 18 team. As LP Dumoulin continues out in front, a good look at DJ Kennington, Daniel Bois, and Trayton Lapsevich. So Lapsevich has just managed to get around Daniel Bois. That is for 7th place on the racetrack. DJ Kennington back in 9th. Bois currently occupying the 8th spot. There is Alex Gannett in 10th in the Vyram number 3. So a couple new paint schemes being debuted here in the Grand Prix of Trois-Rivières. Just behind Gannett is Raphael Lessard, but this is the battle, as we mentioned, for 8th position. Looks like DJ Kennington might be a little bit quicker than the Sierra Excavating number 31 of Daniel Bois. But again, catching is one thing and passing is another. Pennington in that draft, hard in the braking zone. You see a little bit of bumps on the entry of turn number 6. And that transition as the 12 car, I just saw it on the top of your screen, Raphael Lessard has managed to get around Alex Gannett into the top 10 for the Duro King number 12 for Raphael Lessard. We're still watching this battle for 8th, though. DJ Kennington battling with the 31 of Daniel Blois, pair of drivers from Ontario. And around goes the 75 of Benoit Couture, sitting in 24th spot. This will be a full course caution. Boy, this is going to reshuffle the deck. A full course caution for the spin involving the 75, and this is in turn number 1, just ahead of your race leader. Couture actually did make contact with your race leader. LP Dumoulin was well to the inside. Couture had no idea he was there, turned down and caught the nose. Boy, LP Dumoulin has had contact in both cautions so far. And it looks like a flat right front tire for the recap recovery drink number 92 of Dexter Stacey. So at some point he may have run over some debris and cut down that tire. And there's some debris on the nose of Herbie Drescher as well, the 53. You can see it right across the front nose of that team. But the 75 of Couture gets it restarted, back underway. Well, what a moment for your race leader, the 47 of LP Dumoulin. Have a look, you can see the tire rub on the nose, so that's how far he was in and tried to back out as the 75 came down. Normally, when the lap car will give you a lane like that, you think it's all settled and everything's good. He sees me, I'm okay. Away we go on the inside of turn number 1. That was not the case for your race leader, LP Dumoulin, as that was near catastrophe for the WeatherTech Dodge team. Eric Klutsch in the Bothwell Accurate Hoffman Plastics entry, sitting in second. Peter Kloot acting as his car owner this weekend. John Fletcher back on the box as the crew chief as Herbie Drescher makes a quick stop, lights up those General tires and heads back out on the racetrack. See some work is going on in the 04 Omnifab Dodge of JF Dumoulin. Now Benoit Couture down pit lane for a quick stop, and Dexter Stacey with that flat right front General tire will also head down pit lane for some service. I think it might be too early for that tire to fail because of brake heat, but that has been a concern here in the past. What happens is the brake rotors get so hot in the front of these cars that it actually melts the bead of the General tire. It heats up the wheel, and the wheel gets so hot that the bead melts down. But I think with only 28 laps currently listed as complete, it might be too early for that to happen, but it does make for a difficult situation. The crew has to actually lift up the side of the car in order to get the jack underneath and then change that right front tire. The 3 of Alex Gannett is going to head down pit lane. So the crew taking a look and seeing what might have caused that tire to go flat. And you can see it's tough to diagnose by looking at that tire, as it is a very damaged piece at this point. The Elvira number 3 of Alex Gannett comes down pit lane. This will be for their 4 tires. Again, drivers have the option of stopping for 4 tires, not mandatory. And it looks like Gannett just wants a little bit more, but the 92 down and away with brand new General tire on the right front. Alex Gannett's looking for more than just one. He's going to get 4 sticker General tires here for the last half of the race. Gannett was running outside the top 10. He had just been passed by the 12 of Raphael Lessard in 10 spots. And this is going to slide Gannett down to 21st on the running order. the last car on the lead lap. So once we go back green, the free pass car will be given to the 0 of Glenn Stiers from Ohsweken, Ontario. So we'll take it through the running order as it stands right now. LP Dumoulin, your race leader, Gary Clute, Marc-Antoine Cameron, Alex Tagliani, and Alex Labbé, your top 5 as it sits. And then Justin Arsenault in the 03. What a story there for Justin Arsenault. Starting last in the field. He had a couple of spins in practice yesterday. When he went out to qualify, he got about a lap, and then that car just stalled and would not go. Made repairs, got it working. He started last in the field today, and he's up inside the top 10, running 6th ahead of your points leader, Trayton Lapcevich, Daniel Bois, DJ Kennington, Raphael Lessard, your top 10. As the pace car pulls in, we're set to go back to green, and there will be 30 laps to go when we do so, halfway through. As we hit the Tiffany Gate halfway point, the NASCAR official telling the drivers to wait before they get on the gas, and now LP Dumoulin will lead him into turn number 1. Gary Clute up on the outside. He's got a nose there, and if he can hold it, he'll have a preferred line into turn number 2, and contact with the number 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron, and Clute's going to fall back to 3rd. Cameron really muscled his way through there in turn number 2. Putting the GM IA number 96 into the top spot as he chases the WeatherTech Dodge of LP Dumoulin. Arsenault and Labbé battling side by side deeper in the field. Here comes Raphael Lessard way to the inside, battling with the 20 of Trayton Lapcevich. Daniel Bois, DJ Kennington. There's that battle deep between Labbé and Arsenault. This is back at the front. There's so many places to watch, so much happening as Labbé and Arsenault go side by side through turn 8. They're going to lean on each other a little bit here in turn 9. If they can exit side by side. And now Labbé thinks better of that. He's going to back off and let the 03 of Justin Arsenault, a graduate in the Nissan Sentra Cup, is Justin Arsenault. As a matter of fact, he visited Victory Lane here in a Sentra Cup car last year. This year, driving the NASCAR Pinty Series and inside the top 5. Not a bad day for that driver, but for how much longer, as Labbé was poking into turn number 3. This is back at the front, though. And it ended badly for Labbé. Daniel Bois, Montour, Lessard, all involved. You can see some steam coming from the nose of the 13, so that's a radiator that's been punctured, and the 31 car is up off the ground. Daniel Bois. This is a full course caution once again, obviously, as this is a logjam off of turn number 3. Flat right rear tire for the 36 of Labbé, and here's what happened through turn 3. Arsenault and Labbé making contact. And then on the exit is where it all went wrong. You see, Arsenault managed to gather it back up and get going. Labbé did a tank slapper back and forth and went 2 different ways and then crossways in front of the rest of the field. And there's really no way you can see that happening ahead of time. So the rest of the field they're on the gas. And unfortunately, when they arrive on scene, there's cars crossways and broke it up. There's Labbé. Some body damage to the nose. Is he leaking fluid? So we do know that the 13 of Montour is definitely leaking fluid because we saw the steam out of the front of that car. The 31 of Daniel Bois potentially is, I think, Labbé suffered a punctured radiator as well, because look at the line on the ground right in front of the 31. That appears to be fluid down. And that's exactly the path that the 31 took when he drove away from that scene. So an incident on the exit of turn number 3 as Daniel Bois climbs out under his own steam. Good to see the native of Bracebridge, Ontario, is all right. But there's the flat right rear tire for Alex Labbé. And it doesn't look as though they're working very quickly on that car, so it appears as though Labbé's day might be done early. I think he did get something up in the front end of that car. It could possibly be the 31 was the thing that got into the front end of that car, as it everybody sort of piled in after the 36 went around. Labbé was trying to move to the inside of the 03. Justin Arsenault, I think, was anticipating that pass coming and sort of slammed the door, pinching the 36 down, and Labbé didn't want to hit the inside wall, so he hits the thing that moves, and that's the 03 of Justin Arsenault. But then chaos ensued off the turn, so caution for the third time here. The first one happening before the race even got going, with two cars getting collected, and this will be a red flag. Yeah, there's Labbé. He's out, disappointed. In his first race for a brand new team, that car put together in a couple of weeks, as a matter of fact. Alex Labbé doing a lot of the work himself. And so Alex Labbé, hands on hips, and you can see a frustrated sigh, and that's not something that you normally see from Alex Labbé, especially when he runs in the Xfinity Series down through the U.S. He's often the driver who's able to bring home a car in one piece, as a red flag has been in fact shown on the field to clean up the incident in turn number 3. It's just not safe to have those cars moving past in turn number 3 as those marshals and tow truck operators are down there on the track. Again on the exit, and there are the two cars getting separated, one being the 31 of Daniel Bois, the other one being the 13 of LP Montour. There you can see just by hand gestures is Alex Labbé talking about exactly what happened, and yeah, a little bit frustrated to say the least for Labbé. He had a very good car, was running inside the top 5 all day, and yeah, Alex Labbé not known for bringing home a car broken, that's for sure. Normally he's the driver who's able to nurse home a car and take an underpowered car and get a good finish out of it. But have another look at where we're at so far. This is the initial start, and watch the 74 of Kevin Lacroix, the 27 of Andrew Ranger. Through turn 1 clean, turn 2 not so much. Up and over and into the tire wall. That was before we even completed a lap. Both drivers able to get out under their own steam. Andrew Ranger obviously frustrated, and then back to racing in the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron, moved into the lead. And there you can see that's where Alex Labbé was. Problems for the 04 of JF Dumoulin. Something broke in the front end for JF Dumoulin. Then pit stop started. A splash of gas. Again, the rules stated the drivers had to stop for gas before lap 50. And that's when it started, and that's when strategy came into play. A couple of drivers went deep in their box. Alex Tagliani was one of them in that sharp new yellow and red liveried car. And the 75 getting into it with a couple of different cars as he makes contact with the 12 of Rafael Lazar. That's a change for the lead after pit stops, and this is what drew caution number 2. And again, that was your race leader making contact with Benoit Couture. Happened at the same time the 92 of Dexter Stacey cut down the right front tire. So he had the caution period to go get that fixed. And as we went back to green, Gary Clute tried to hang on the outside and went on to lose that position to the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron as they made contact through turn number 2. And this is what brought out the most recent caution. And you can see it wasn't a significant hit to the front of the 36, but it was a big hit to the back of the 31 of Daniel Bois, but it was that knock in the nose that knocks the 36 of Alex Labbé out of this one. So as he continues to assess the damage and talk to his crew and maybe talk to himself a little bit. Top 5 as follows: LP Dumoulin, Marc-Antoine Cameron, Gary Clute, Alex Tagliani, Trayton Lapcevich is up there too. And we are currently under this red flag condition to get the issue cleaned up on the exit of turn number 3. And again, that's a very tight part of the track where it funnels down and heads through the Duplessis gates. It's a great opportunity for photos. You see some of the most memorable photos coming in that turn 3 area through the Duplessis gates. But for Alex Tagliani, he'll remember it for, or excuse me, Alex Labbé, he'll remember it for other reasons. So I think by his hand gestures, he's indicating that the 3 didn't give him enough room. The 03 of Justin Arsenault came down on him is what he's indicating. You often see Alex Labbé saying, I was there, he came down on me, and we made contact, and then I went around, and yeah. That's essentially what happened from his cockpit. Justin Arsenault did manage to keep going, so he's still on track, listed in the 6th position as we still sit on the front stretch here under a red flag condition. There was a couple of red flags in the race last year that had to be displayed to clean up a couple of different incidents around the track. But this one is strictly to get those cars out of the way and to keep the NASCAR officials safe. There's a good look at Gloria Eng, who controls the pit exit for NASCAR, as she's done for years. One of the NASCAR officials, travels with the NASCAR Pinty Series Tour. So it looks like Glenn Stiers will be the final car on the lead lap. I was just checking through the running orders. It flashed around here. Alex Guenette, 15th spot. Remember, he stopped and got those 4 brand new General tires just before this caution period. Sam Fellows just ahead of him in 14th. So Sam Fellows, who started towards the back of the pack, is having a pretty good run. Sam started in 21. He's now up in the 14th spot. So Justin Arsenault started 30th, and he's now in 6th. As we take a look at some of the other movers and shakers, there's been a lot of drivers who have dropped down the running order who are considered favorites to win this race. Drivers like Andrew Ranger, like Kevin Lacroix. And now the field moving again as the yellow flag is displayed. The red flag comes back in. Dexter Stacey has dropped down the running order as well. Stacey was hoping for a very good day here, starting in the 14th position, but cut that right front tire and potentially some bigger issues. Herbie Drescher started in 26th and he's in 16th position. How about that for the rookie in the 53? Normally known as a crew member and a crew chief here in the NASCAR Pinty Series, but Herbie's having a good run here in the GP3R. And the Rousseau medals 60 on a Sunday afternoon. Some clouds dotting the sky, but a very pleasant day for a race for sure. About 27 degrees, nice and warm. Just a perfect summer day here in Trois-Rivières, Quebec. NASCAR Pinty Series puts on a show for the nearly packed house. What a crowd all weekend long here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. 33 laps in the books, according to our timing and scoring here in the tower. Best time so far has been put in by DJ Kennington. He did that very early in the race in the 17 when he was chasing the race leader. You can see the green and white number 17 coming through there. DJ currently sitting in 8th spot behind the 12 of Raphael Lessard. Lessard picking up a win in the Chevrolet Urban Challenge just last night, driving a dirt modified, a very different vehicle here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. The dirt modifieds qualify on dirt tracks to run here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières on an asphalt road circuit. As the pace car pulls in, the field will have to quickly double up and collect itself. We're going to go back to green here very shortly, so it's not very much time for the drivers to get any heat in their tires, but this is the way it's going to go down. As they do file up 2 by 2 through turn number 11, and look at that, a little bit of an early jump from the 59 of Gary Clute. Now we get underway, and it's side by side into turn number 1. Look at Cameron on the outside, some contact there with the 47 of LP Dumoulin. The 18 of Alex Tagliani tucked to the inside. That's the preferred route into turn number 3, and Gary Clute will back off and find a line in behind that red and yellow number 18 of Tagliani. So Clute goes from 3rd back to 4th position on the track. Eli Arsenault has some fiberglass flapping on the 03, chasing the 59 as Trayton Lapsevich alongside the 17 of DJ Kennington, and they go through turn number 6 just like that. Now single file off of 6 towards 7, which is a kink. Now turn number 8 for your race leader, Marc-Antoine Cameron. A lot of heat behind, though, as Cameron got a really good restart that time, as Jocelyn Fecteau problems in turn number 6, and it looks like his day is going to be done. The window net is down for the driver of the 77. LP Dumoulin took a knock in the back in the opening laps, and then he took a knock in the left front corner to bring out a caution not too long ago, but that car still seems to be very strong. Cameron, though, starting to stretch out a bit of a lead. Alex Tagliani in 3rd spot, getting some heat from the 59 of Gary Clute. Justin Arsenault and Raphael Lessard, the 03 and the 12. They're not running for points, they're just running for a win here in the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières, are those 2 drivers. So it's the 59, that driver, Gary Clute, running a partial season, just running on the road courses here in 2023. And GP3R, one of those road courses that he has a chance to win anytime that 59 car enters a race in the NASCAR Pinty Series on a road course. Gary Clute is often at the front of the field. Look at the damage to the side of the 18 of Alex Tagliani as caution flies. So that must have been off that restart where the 18 made contact with somebody, but the door is completely caved in on the Saint-Hubert number 18 of Alex Tagliani, the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron, blowing things up. And the caution put out for Jocelyn Fecteau, who didn't get around the extra tire walls in that runoff area. And so now the cleanup crew has got to go to work and give them a push, and that's exactly what they'll do and get it done quickly. So we're under yet another caution with 24 laps to go here in the Rousseau Medal 60 in the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. Having a look through, and you can see the 2 Dave Jacobs Racing cars, the entries from the 1 of JP Bergeron, 9th place, the 24 Thomas Neveu sitting in 10th place, and Larry Jackson, who qualified in 20th, is sitting in 11th spot with Barbet Tourism on board. shot a Wonder Bread commercial not too long ago. And he's having a wonderful ride here today in the number 84. Donald Teach as well in the number 80 in 12th spot. So Teach started at 19th. He's improved considerably up to 12th. Again, this is a race where you just want to keep your nose clean. Some drivers haven't kept their nose clean. Daryl Timmers in the 98 was involved in an issue on the opening lap, and Timmers actually has moved up, even with all of that paraphernalia flailing in the wind at the front of that Chevrolet Camaro. Alex Gannett currently listed in 14th spot. There goes Brandon Watson down pit lane, the Leland number 9. So Watson has already stopped for fuel. This could be his tire stop. Again, it was up to the teams to decide whether or not they wanted to take tires. A few of the cars out of this race already. And it's going to be a tire stop, although seems like it was a last-minute decision to make this one happen. As the crew goes to work and putting new right-side tires on the number 9. Again, you don't have to be too quick. You can take your time. Make sure you get all those lug nuts tight because the laps are so long. And we'll take another look at this restart. Look at the 59. It fired early, and the 03 of Justin Arsenault got into the back of the 59, gave him a significant route off that start. I think the 47 of LP Dumoulin was trying to hold them back just a little bit more, but then fired, and the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron got away. Of course, the NASCAR officials will be taking a good close look at that to make sure the 96 didn't jump that restart, because it is up to the 47 to control when to go. New tires down and away for the number 9 of Brandon Watson out of Stayner, Ontario. And you can see the tight confines of the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières taking its toll on several of the cars as you take a look at the wide shot. And you can see some of the damage accumulated on some of the vehicles. The 24 Thomas Neveu with some damage to the nose of the Ford Mustang. Of course, Justin Arsenault has damage from his run-in with the 36 of Alex Levay. The rest of the field comes through. And the pace car will pull in this time. So looking for doubled up 2x2 through turn number 9, 10, and onto the front stretch. So the car's trying to get as much heat as they can at the last minute into their tires, as they all accordion up. Every restart in the NASCAR Pinty Series is a side-by-side restart. And now it is a very slow idle through turn number 10 for the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. He has a restart trick up his sleeve right now as he pulls alongside the 47 of LP Dumoulin. Green flag is back up, and we're back underway. 22 laps to go as LP Dumoulin leads a little bit on the 96 through turn number 1. He'll slot in single file ahead of the 18 through turn 2. And down through the Duplessis gates, we're single file through the top 4 cars. Lassard and the 03 of Arsenault managed to make it through there. Lassard was on the inside. Arsenault gave him space that time, and both avoided the tire wall. Here comes Thomas Neveu, a very ambitious move. Not 1, but 2 for the driver, the 24. He picked off the 20 of Drayton Lapsevich and the 17 of DJ Kennington. Where did that come from the driver of the Aviram 24 out of Oka, Quebec? But Thomas Neveu having a wonderful drive. Here comes DJ Kennington, says, not so fast, youngster. I'm going to take that spot back, thank you very much. In turn number 9, that's what the driver, the 17 Castrol Edge Dodge, did. Getting back around Thomas Neveu was DJ Kennington, but Neveu, I think, bit off a little bit more than he could chew. Now JP Bergeron up alongside Trayton Lapcevich looking for 9th spot. Around goes Teej. Teej and the 84 of Larry Jackson have gone around in turn number 1. No caution as everybody gets going. You can see damage to the right side of Donald Teej. Jackson and Teej were battling for 11th position, and now issues for Raphael Lessard. That is on the exit of turn number 2, headed towards turn 3. And it's a rear end issue as that car is crab walking. And he heads for the runoff area, but he did not get far enough, so that's going to force a caution. I believe, yeah, the back end is, rear end is pulled way forward on that Duro King number 12. So Raphael Lessard, who is making his first starts of 2023 in the NASCAR Pinty Series. Not his first race of 2023. Remember, he came in relief of Dexter Stacy at Autodrome Chaudière and wheeled that number 92 to a 3rd place finish. But now he'll stop in the runoff area. So the waved blue flag is something unique to the NASCAR Pinty Series, or NASCAR on road courses in general. It's an indication that there is something affecting that corner, and it's a warning to the drivers. It's not a caution flag. You can still pass, but it's just arrive with caution, a waved blue flag, and that's an indication to the drivers that the 12 of Raphael Lessard is stopped in the runoff area through there. Bottleneck a little bit deeper back, but still Marc-Antoine Cameron coming under heat from the 47 of LP Dumoulin. Dumoulin was in the 2nd position for that restart, and he tried to make it stick on the outside of turn number 1. He couldn't quite do it, but he hasn't fallen very far back as laps continue to tick off. Now under 20 to go, 19 as a matter of fact, left to be completed here as part of the Rousseau Medal 60. And the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières, Trayton Lapcevich moving back up into the 7th position around the 24 of Thomas Neveu. Alex Cadet, the Assa Abloy, Environ, 2 Environ cars, as a matter of fact, the 24 and the 3, sponsored by the same backer here for this race at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. And Environ will be the title sponsor for the NASCAR Pinty Series stop at Circuit Icar. And here comes Gannett to the inside. Move the 3 up 1 spot now around the Ford Mustang of Thomas Neveu. So Neveu had a great restart, picked up several positions, and now it's been dropping back consistently over the last several laps. DJ Kennington up to 6, chasing Justin Arsenault. Here's your points leader, Trayton Lapcevich, GSR, Delta Bingo and Gaming, supporting the number 20 here in 2023. And again, Lapcevich came in with a 40-point cushion over your current race leader, the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. So realistically, Trayton Lapcevich needs to do exactly what he is doing. Keep that car clean, complete all the laps, come home with a finish, and accumulate as many points as he can. Marc-Antoine Cameron is a very talented road and street course racer. As a matter of fact, he's got tons of experience here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières circuit. This is where he cut his racing teeth in Formula 1600s in sports cars, and of course in the NASCAR Pinty Series in the past. He's never won here though, never visited Victory Lane. Here in the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières, he would love to do it. Native Quebecer, GM Paillet with a big fan support here at this facility as they're working around or coming up on lap traffic to the 75 of Benoit Couture, the rookie out of Saint-Julie, Quebec. Now pulls to the outside, and this time the leaders get through just fine. The 96 and the 47 managed to follow through. Tagliani just back a little bit in 3rd spot. Here include 4th, Justin Arsenault, still in 5th in the 03. Cameron just turned the quickest lap of the day, though, a 1:08.511. So as he gets that clean air, he's able to stretch it out just a little bit, but it is just a little bit. The 47 WeatherTech Dodge of LP Dumoulin, again, he's looking to win his third here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières in front of his hometown crowd. How good would that feel? With 17 laps to go, there'll be 16 next time they cross the strike. Marc-Antoine Cameron qualified on pole, set a new track record in doing so. Led in the early going, made a pit stop, fell back, and then just patiently waited it out through a couple of cautions, took advantage of several restarts, and then now finds himself back out in front of the field. He was another driver, too, that raced in the Chevrolet Urban Challenge. And in that one, boy, he had a great run in the Paillet-backed entry there. He qualified only in the 16th position, but he ended up finishing inside the top 5. Just a great run for Marc-Antoine Cameron a night ago in the Chevrolet Urban Challenge. Listen to those NASCAR engines sing as they head down that short straightaway. There is a kink called turn number 7. Turn 8 is where Marc-Antoine Cameron just exited. Now he's into turn 9. And then up to turn 10, the right-hander there. You have to be careful not to touch that wall. That might have been where the 04 of JF Dumoulin met his demise. Dumoulin has been out since early in the going, and it appears as though something had broken in the right front corner. So you can see a black mark on the inside wall through turn 10. Big gaggle of race cars there, led by Thomas Neveu. He's being challenged by Brandon Watson in the Leland GMS number 9. Watson is there on the inside. Again, Watson has tires that are much newer than the driver, the 24. Remember, he stopped not too long ago. Contact there as Neveu tries to get back in line to avoid being passed by the next car back there, which is his teammate, J.F. Bergeron. Bergeron now catch that draft down the straightaway into turn number 6. Not an opportunity to pass just yet. But it looks like Neveu is struggling a little bit with that handling of the Evira number 24. Wasn't too long ago he was battling for a top 5. Now he's struggling to hang on to a top 10 position as Brandon Watson has moved to 9th. JP Bergeron in 11th, looking for 10th. As you can see, the packed house and the cars flying by here on the extra wide front straightaway here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. Marc-Antoine Cameron, your current race leader, followed by LP Dumoulin, and that's the distance between them. It was 1 second exactly at the start-finish line the last time they passed. Alex Tagliani sliding back a touch in the 18. Remember, Tagliani has won here as recently as 2021, and he's visited victory lane 3 separate occasions, as has the driver, the 18, Gary Kloot, sitting 4th. Justin Arsenault, again, started in 30th position. Justin Arsenault is in 5th. I have to repeat that every single time. A gain of 25 positions for Justin Arsenault over the course of this race. It's really got into an incident there with the 36 of Alex LeBay, and that drew a caution, which eventually led to the red flag condition that we saw. But again, we've been fairly clean since then. 13 laps to go. And we can tell you that Marc-Antoine Cameron still the quickest. He's stretching that gap, but not by much. It's hundredths of a second difference each and every lap between the 96 and the 47. They are 2 very evenly matched machines here on this racetrack. 2 drivers who know it very, very well, and that's playing into today's results. Pair of teammates here out of the Dave Jacobs Racing camp. The bodies have seen better days, but the drivers are still rolling up their sleeves and going to work, trying to get more positions. Thomas Neveu leading the Rousseau medals backs number 1 of JP Bergeron. And Bergeron admitted at the beginning of the season, he's like, you know what, I didn't really know much about road course racing. It came from an oval background driving late models, but he says, I kind of like it. And his results have shown it as well. He's starting to get those good finishes on road and street circuits, including a top 10 at the Honda Indy Toronto. The last time the series made a stop on a street circuit, as he tries to get the power down off of turn number 9. He's looking for a way by the rookie Thomas Neveu. JP Bergeron, former rookie contender not too long ago, and now moves alongside in turn number 1. That door was open for a little while. It closed quite dramatically across the nose of the 1. And while they do battle, the 9 of Brandon Watson just ahead, saying thank you as he looks in his rearview mirror, and he's able to drive away just a little bit. But again, Brandon Watson with those newer General tires after making that stop during the last caution period. And it's paid off for the driver of the 9 as he's up inside the top 10, and he'll soon be pressuring Alex Guenette. Guenette made a stop earlier in this race and took 4 General tires of his own, but now those ones are going to be fairly tired at this stage of the game with just about 10 laps to go. Problems for Herbie Drescher. Drescher in the 53 was sitting in 14th position, driving at a Mirabel, Quebec for Herbie's lifts, and he goes around that looked to be turn number 6. But he managed to refire and get going. We stay green, and we continue to watch this dynamite battle. Again, this is for 10th and 11th on the racetrack, but it looks like it could be for the lead in the minds of the 2 drivers, Thomas Neveu and JP Bergeron. Might as well be for the lead, because this is just a knock him down, drag him out battle between a pair of teammates, a pair of Ford Mustangs here in the NASCAR Pinty series. The only 2 Mustangs in the field, and boy, they're going at it. The body part starting to hang off the front of the 1 of JP Bergeron, off the back of the 24 of Thomas Neveu. Not all of that caused by this scrap between the 2 teammates, but it's been a tough day of racing here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. Now with 10 laps to go for your race leader, 10 to go for Marc-Antoine Cameron, who now has a 2-second lead over LP Dumoulin. And LP Dumoulin has a 3.3-second cushion over Alex Tagliani. So that at the front is starting to stretch out a lot more than what we saw just after that restart. Here's Brandon Watson, who has managed to catch the Veyron number 3 of Alex Guenette. Again, this is up for 8th and 9th. Guenette running in 8th, Brandon Watson in 9th. Guenette visited Victory Lane last year. Some damage to the nose of the Chevrolet of Watson as he goes to the inside under braking. Guenette knows when his goose is cooked, so he decides to back off and let the Leland GMS number 9 move through on the inside. Hopefully he can catch a draft. Guenette can and follow him up through as they have the 75 just ahead. Benoit Couture. So still Cameron, Dumoulin, Tagliani, Clute, Justin Arsenault. That is your top 5 as it sits right now, as Watson and Guenette move around Couture in the number 75 in through turn 1 and turn 2. If you're just joining us and wondering where Andrew Ranger and Kevin Lacroix are, they were involved in an incident on the very first lap of the race in turn number 2. Kevin Lacroix jumping over the back of the 27 of Andrew Ranger. Both drivers okay, but their races ended early. The 04 of JF Dumoulin with some front end issues. His race ended early. He was a favorite to win this one as well. So you can see those are the 3 drivers at the bottom of the running order. Dumoulin 28th, Ranger 29th, and Kevin Lacroix in 30th. Raphael Assard had some issues a short time ago, 7 laps down in the 12th car, and smoke now from one of the drivers. That is the 80 of Donald Teach. He went for a spin at turn number 1 not too long ago, but this looks to be, I don't think that's a tire rub. Have another look from this side. It's not coming from the exhaust on the side. He'll find pit lane, but the window net is down, so it looks like his day is done. Is it a rear end or is it an engine problem? Either way, it is a big problem for the Teach Auto Group XPN recovery drink number 80. Donald Teach will slowly make his way down pit lane and to his stall. Again, the window net already down. He knows his day is done. They're looking at the rear end so they can tell by the smell. That's likely a burnt up rear end gear for the driver out of Bois-Catel, Quebec. We stay green, most importantly, and now the 17 of DJ Kennington in a battle with your points leader, Drayton Lapsevich. Both these drivers with very clean race cars. And Kennington in 6th spot, Drayton Lapsevich in 7th. You can see obviously there was a bit of fire underneath the back end of the number 80 of Donald Teach. And so the fire crew on scene going to spray it down with a little bit of fire suppressant and get that out. Now they're under hood, so it looks like it might be an engine problem for that team rather than a rear end problem. Either way, it's a problem. And now 7 laps to go last time by for your race leader, Marc-Antoine Cameron. This is a good battle, though. 6th and 7th on the racetrack. DJ Kennington celebrating 30 years with Castrol as a sponsor of that number 17 team. Drayton Lapsevich, the youngster who is having a wonderful season. As a matter of fact, he's trying to match or pass the record number of wins in a season set by that driver, DJ Kennington. Kennington has 7 already. Drayton Lapsevich has 5 as Herbie Drescher does a big tail wag coming out of turn number 9. So the handling going away on the 53 of Herbie Drescher. And now 6 laps to go as the leaders come through. Cameron 2.8 seconds out on LP Dumoulin. Tagliani, Gary Clute has managed to get around Justin Arsenault for 4th spot. DJ Kennington is in 6th, and of course Drayton Lapsevich in 7. But there is the difference at the front of the field. That's the gap now between Marc-Antoine Cameron and the 47 of LP Dumoulin. Donald Teach out of the XPN recovery drink number 80, and that's good news, but rinsing out his mouth as he took a couple huffs of that fire extinguisher powder. But just take a look at the attitude of that 96 car. Is Marc-Antoine Cameron pushing it all that hard? Does he have to at this point? He has to push a little bit. He can't let up too much because the 47 is right there, but Cameron did not stop for General Tires. Dumoulin did take 4 brand new tires, but right at the start of this race. So realistically, by now, the difference in wear on those tires is probably negligible. As we hit 5 to go. 5 laps to go here in the Rousseau Meadows 60 for your race leader, Marc-Antoine Cameron, the GM Paillet, number 96. The man from St. Leonard-d'Aston, Quebec, trying to win one in front of a home province crowd and trying to beat the hometown hero from right here in Trois-Rivières, Quebec, is LP Dumoulin in the WeatherTech number 47. Those two have been the class of the field in qualifying. They qualified 1-2, 4/10 of a second between them. And in this race, they've been covered at the front of the field. Dumoulin's had a very eventful day. Really of no fault of his own, and a slide into the runoff area, turn number 6 for the Avira number 24 of Thomas Neveu. There's smoke coming from the back end of that car. That could be a tire rub because of all the body damage on that car, but Dumoulin had that incident affect him on turn 2 on the opening lap when the 74 car got into him, cut his right rear tire, nursed it back to the pits. They made a stop and then went to work from there. And then while he was leading, working through lap traffic, actually made contact with the lap car of Benoit Couture on the left front corner of that car. And reports from the pits that the 47 and the 59 might be a little bit tight on fuel. So that could be why the gap in the front started to widen a little bit. LP Dumoulin is trying to conserve some fuel, so the team a little bit concerned at this point with 3 laps to go if, in fact, the WeatherTech Dodge is going to make it. Same with the Bothwell Accurate number 59 of Gary Clute. Justin Arsenault is right there too in the 3, and DJ Kennington has managed to catch up. So Arsenault within 0.8 of a second of the 59 the last time they crossed the stripe. And Kennington has managed to catch the 03. DJ had the fastest lap of the race in the early going, and that's good for about the first half of this one before Marc-Antoine Cameron got out into the open, and he cut that by a couple hundredths of a second. We know that 17 car has been quick, but he's managed to close the gap on this battle for 4th position. Alex Tagliani just a little bit further ahead. You can see flashes of that car go through your screen, but there's the 59, the 03, and the 17 of DJ Kennington. 4th, 5th, and 6th on the track right now. Trayton Lapcevich running in 7th position. But again, the question will be, do they have enough Sunoco fuel left in reserve to make it to the finish? I think they were expecting a few more caution laps that didn't come. 2 to go, as Cameron leads them now out of turn number 3 and down the back straightaway. This again a battle for 4th position. Justin Arsenault closing on Gary Clute, who is no doubt trying to conserve some fuel. The leader will be looking at lap traffic. Sam Fellows in 15th position, just ahead in the AER number 87. Fellows, a veteran road course racer, will look in his mirror and he'll see the 96 and give him all kinds of room when the time comes. Cameron, your race leader, by 2.8 seconds the last time they went by the stripe. LP Dumoulin trying to push, although keeping in mind the dwindling supply of fuel in the tank at the back of that car. The white flag is up. 1 more lap to go here in the Rousseau Medal 60. Cameron through 1 and 2 for the final time. He has Sam Fellows now caught, and he's looking at his back bumper through turn number 3. This is going to slow down your race leader just a little bit, not by much, but it will on the exit of turn 3 and down Boulevard to Carmel for the last time. Where is the 47 of LP Dumoulin? There he is, coming into screen, but still too far back to make a move. Sam Fellows is driving his race, and the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron having some trouble getting around the 87 of Fellows. Now Fellows, and around goes the 03 of Justin Arsenault. That is in turn number 6. And he is stopped up against the concrete wall beside the tire wall. So Arsenault was pushing to try and catch the 59 of Gary Clute. And was it an issue with the 75 of Benoit Couture? Checkered flag waves, so no caution as the Arsenault car sits in turn number 6, but this one is going to end. The 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron will win it, the Rousseau Medal 60. And for the first time, Cameron will go to victory lane here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. The 47 of LP Dumoulin did have enough fuel to make it to the end, as did the 59 of Gary Clute. Alex Tagliani will round out the podium. DJ Kennington 5th, Trayton Lapcevich in 6th. But there is your race winner, the number 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. So dominant all weekend long. After practicing the quickest, qualifying the quickest, setting a new track record, now leading the most laps en route to victory. Here in the Rousseau Medals, 60 at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. This is going to be quite the celebration, you can guarantee that. Kennington Lapsevich, Brandon Watson 7th, Alex Gannett in 8th, JP Bergeron, Thomas Neveu 9th and 10th, so they do finish still together even after Thomas Neveu made a trip into the runoff area. Larry Jackson, Daryl Timmers, even with all that damage, a 12th place finish. Dave Coursol, Justin Arsenault, and Sam Fellows in 15th, and a burnout from the 96 car in front of the packed grandstands here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. Turn number 1 is historically the celebration location, as the driver will stop here at the start-finish line, pick up that Sunoco checkered flag, and give it a big wave. Here in the victory lap here today, Marc-Antoine Cameron, a big points day. Trayton Lapsevich finishing in 6th, so it'll close the gap at the front of the point standings, not by much. And how about some victory donuts here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières? Oh, those are beauties. And you can hear the crowd showing their appreciation to the driver from St. Leonard d'Aston, Quebec. Marc-Antoine Cameron visits Victory Lane here in the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. But thank you very much for joining us. I'm Dave Bradley. Happy to bring you all of today's action from the Rousseau Medals 60 here in the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. Big congratulations, your winner here in the NASCAR Pinty Series, Marc-Antoine Cameron.